Hello, it's Di Hill, transformational coach and energy healer. How are you today? So today's teaching is on why stepping into your power is really scary and why so often we fail at it. I was with a client this morning and she is halfway through the Upleveled Woman transformational strategy with me, and we were working on a really awesome module called Values and Needs. And what was coming out was this kind of one foot on the brake and one foot on the pedal, wanting to do the work, but being scared to do it. And I reassured her that this is actually all part of the process. Because as you discover who you truly are on the inside, what it is you want, you start undoing all the negative thoughts, the self-limiting beliefs, the energy of the emotions that aren't yours, all the stuff you've believed to be true, and actually discovered who you are deep down inside. It's actually pretty scary. On one hand, you feel super unstoppable, like, I know who I am, I want to go and create everything I want in the world. And then on the other hand, it feels really, really scary. It's almost like we're saying goodbye to an old version of ourselves and stepping into a new one. And so in today's teaching, I want to talk to you about why it's so scary, but also give you some really good tips on how to really own your power, step into it, and live from the gorgeous, authentic being you truly are. Because once you do that, that's when you create an incredible life. So the very first reason why we're scared of stepping into our power is because innately we are scared of rejection. If you think about it, we are tribal beings in here. Only 500 years ago, we were still living in tribes, we were living in walled cities, we were very much part of a clan or a group. And rejection would basically mean certain death, possibly by famine or, being eaten by something, millions of years ago or whatever. But essentially, to our brains, rejection doesn't feel good. It feels inherently scary. We would rather just play ball, calibrate back down to the person we think we should be in the world, who everyone knows, than actually step into that version of ourselves. So shedding our identity and becoming someone else is actually really quite scary. So that's the first thing. The second thing is we are actually scared of success. I'll talk about failure in a minute, but being scared of actually being successful, having a fear of it, is a genuine fear. Will people still like me? Will it feed onto that rejection? Will people still accept me for who I am if I am successful, if I'm becoming the best version of myself? Sadly enough, we live in a world where many, many people love to see other people fail, fall flat on their face, mostly because it makes them feel better. So if you're succeeding, if you're achieving, if you're starting to really get some momentum and whatever it is you want in life, there is this real fear of success because, you're suddenly doing all this stuff and people might judge you, they might reject you, they might start, criticizing you. And that again feels inherently bad to your psyche. So that's the second one. The third reason we don't want to step into our power is really, really simple. It's habitual to be the way we are. We might not even know how to change. That's where coaches like me come in, because at the end of the day, you might desire a change, but not having the right mindset or the strategy of actually how to change could make you end up staying stuck, where you're going to start feeling frustrated and, irritated, and that you're not being able to create what it is you want. So it's just sort of not knowing and sitting in those habitual patterns in your comfort zone. Okay. The next one ties in with what I was saying earlier, which is that real fear of criticism and judgment. Now, the client I was speaking to this morning has a real fear of judgment of others. And that judgment, when we allow other people to decide how we feel, if they're judging us and we're letting that guide the way, then that is literally setting you up for failure. You can't go and create a beautiful life if you're sitting there letting however everybody else decide your life for you. It's your life. And so where judgment is concerned, something I learned years and years ago, which has stood me in good stead, and it stands all of my clients in good stead, is knowing where judgment comes from. Judgment is like the lowest version of any form of intelligence, okay? It doesn't involve any like grounding. It's completely based on beliefs. It is like the lowest version of opinion there is. And when you realize it's based on beliefs, which is forming your perception, and it comes from what you've been conditioned and imprinted from, it's not truth. Perception is not truth. It's a belief from what you've been exposed to. And ever since realizing that judgment is based on other people's perception, I don't care. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. A long time ago, someone said to me, it's none of your business what other people think. I was like, really? Are you joking me? But actually it's not, because what other people think doesn't actually matter. It's based on their personal experience of life. If you feel judged and it's triggering you on some way, then that is showing you things inherently inside that you need to heal. So actually judgments and triggers can absolutely be your friend. It might be that deep down inside you do want to do something different, or you are actually realizing you're getting in the way of yourself, or maybe you're doing something that isn't right for you. So sometimes it can be a really good lesson as well. Okay, next one is basically feeling uncomfortable. When you do things that are kind of out of alignment to what your belief system is, your beliefs sit in your subconscious. That's that part of the brain which is basically driving your life. When we start doing things cognitively, we start doing different things, our subconscious is like, hold on a minute, we don't do that. What are you doing? And it feels really, really uncomfortable. So we might desire to step into our power, but at the end of the day, it can feel so uncomfortable. We will actually self-sabotage and basically come back down to, again, who we think we should be, because that's kind of where we feel safest. Okay, the next one is that we might be worried that we're going to hurt other people along the way if we start, sailing our own ship and following our dreams and doing what it is we want. And again, this is not from a place of arrogance or being aggressive, but being assertive and really choosing and making choices that feel good for us. Some people are not going to like it. They might not be on your journey. You might have to make some decisions which maybe they're not involved in, and it might end up hurting them. So if we end up being anxious about this sort of stuff, again, we can put other people's kind of needs above our wants. So we really have to be really kind of steadfast, assertive, which means you are considering other people, but knowing wholeheartedly this is your one life to live. And when people are hurt, again, it's about their reactions. I would hope that when you're making decisions from a loving place, it wouldn't even cause that in the first place. Okay, the next one is a good one, and something that I am very, very conscious of. And that is if you've tried and failed before. So you've even got evidence where you've tried to do things, you have, you've got your eye on the prize, you're so passionate about what it is that you want to create, but it falls flat on your face. And when that happens, every fiber of your being is basically going, don't do it again. It's going to mess up. Don't even think about it. So again, you're sitting in a place of don't try because you're going to fail, and failure again is really inherently bad to your brain. It doesn't like failure. It basically says you're rubbish, you're useless, so better not to try, right? So that's another reason why we won't step into our power. And then lastly, it is coming back to that fear of change. This is a natural hardwired way of our brain working. Our brains like familiarity, they like predictability. We don't like nasty surprises or change. And change can be anything from really small things like, I don't know, they might go and change the supermarket aisles or something, or suddenly you're doing a new course, to massive changes like, I don't know, emigrating or a divorce or a death or a loss of a job or something, and everything in between. Every single part of your nervous system is like on fire when change is happening. But the key to actually change is recognizing that the only constant is change, and to really break it down, see it for what it is, and kind of buckle up and enjoy the ride. That is the thing. So how do we actually stay in our power and step into it and feel safe and awesome and happy and deserving? And so we can kind of brush through those reasons why we don't want to. And I guess the first one, which is a module that I teach, is about setting boundaries. So human beings, unless you've been sort of brought up in an environment where you're used to setting boundaries, stating your wants and needs, we're not very good at doing it. Again, the reason we don't set boundaries is because we're scared of being told no. We're scared of being rejected and disapproved of. So when you start really kind of ring fencing what's important to you, it might be a course, it might be a new habit that you're picking up, it might be that you're going to the gym and you're wanting to dedicate some hours to it. Maybe those around you like, oh, hold on a minute, what is she up to? Why is she suddenly doing this and claiming back some time for herself? It's about feeling safe and knowing it's actually okay to do so. There's a great saying where boundaries are concerned, which is basically the people that don't like you putting boundaries in place, the ones that benefited from you having none in the first place. So as soon as you start putting some boundaries in place, again, it's going to upset some people, but again, it's protecting what you want. And so you can actually put the blinkers on and go and create the life that you desire. It's your life. Okay. The next one is, and this is more of a learned behavior, and that's really sort of checking in with yourself every time you're making a decision. I call it an energetic checkup. It's really tuning into how your body feels. Every woman that works with me very much sort of starts in her head, and I take her on a journey from moving from this place down into her heart to really tune into the decisions that they're making, because most of the time we're making decisions on automatic. But when we can really tune in to whether that decision is right for us or not, that's when you're actually starting to live in alignment with yourself and actually start stepping into your power. And you'll know whether a decision is right for you or not. It'll either feel light and fluffy and easy if it's the right one, or it's going to be hard and heavy and a bit, maybe a bit scary, panicky feeling, but you go and do it anyway if it's the wrong one. So start tuning in to actually how your body feels. You have a huge energy center in your stomach called the solar plexus, which is this massive energy center, which will really, if you tune into that, will be able to give you all the answers that you need when you're making decisions. Okay. The next one is you having a word with yourself. It's telling yourself there's no such thing as failure. That for me has been massive, okay? Knowing that there's no failure, there's just feedback. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Society, favors success and judges failure. And so we have this huge fear of it. But when you can turn around and go, actually, I'm on my path. It doesn't matter if it didn't work then. And maybe I need to learn more. Maybe it's not what I meant to do. Maybe this isn't the right relationship for me. It's actually okay. We're designed to try many different hats on in life and then discover what is right for us deep down in our soul. Again, we're just not taught it. So get okay with perceived failure or mistakes and realize it's not true. It's just feedback. Okay, next one. Next time someone's judging you, just sit there and go, okay, that's interesting. Don't let it in. Remind yourself it's based on perception, which isn't truth. It's so powerful when you can, it's liberating when you can step out of this fear of being judged. It actually doesn't matter. And if you're letting it in, whose life are you living? Your life or theirs? It's just very, freeing to actually be in the energy of really not caring or feeling less than from anybody else. Next one is quite a big one. We learn through pain when we start going on a journey of what it is we want, and then we learn from wisdom. And where this is concerned, this is quite a healthy way of motivating, I think, is to remind yourself of the consequences. What will life look like if you don't own your truth? What will it look like if you don't step into your power? I don't know about you, but I'm not going to join anyone on a rocking chair having regret or sadness or, frustration that I didn't live the life that I wanted. It is available to you, okay? So if you can really kind of remind yourself of the consequences, the pain of not doing it, hopefully that will motivate you to step into your power as well. Okay, next one is, it's about choosing to absolutely love yourself through and through. I'm not talking about getting your nails done, going for a quick run, meeting a friend for a coffee. That's not self-love. Or sitting in a bath. That's kind of an element of self-love, i.e. self-care. I'm talking about you radically falling in love with the incredible person you truly are deep down inside. When you can live from the vibration of love, you will start attracting a life back that matches that. You cannot step into your power. You cannot create the life that you want unless you truly love yourself. That's the good, the bad, the in-between, the perceived mistakes and failures, the forgiving yourself. It's a huge, self-love is a huge part of the upleveled woman process, but it is beautiful and golden on the other side. I seriously didn't love myself for a long time, okay? And I can say wholeheartedly, I can look in the mirror now and say, I love you. I absolutely, truly, madly, deeply love myself. Okay, so that's really important. And you can even do some mirror work of actually looking at yourself in the mirror, and it might even be really hard the first time you do it and start going, I love you. We've got this. I'm honoring you. I'm honoring our life. Are we going to do this? Actually start developing a relationship with the person, the most important person in your life, which is you. At the end of the day, that's the most important person. Okay, nearing the end. Actually finding evidence where you have lived from your authenticity, where you have stepped into your power, and reminding your brain just how fabulous it was. Maybe it's something in the workplace. Maybe it's where you stood up for yourself in a situation. It doesn't matter. It's about reminding yourself where you stood in your truth, you felt really, really powerful, and it felt great, and there was nothing to fear. So your brain is always looking for evidence to prove itself right. So flood it with loads of evidence of occasions where you have stepped into your power, where you have really spoken your truth. Okay, this is a good one and something I absolutely love and teach all my clients, which is the power of visualization. When you visualize, you are basically training your brain to believe that something is already happening. Your brain cannot tell the difference between the past, the present, and the future. So when you're visualizing as if you have already stepped into your power, you are this incredible, confident, powerful, driven human being, your brain will start to believe that to be correct. The more you visualize, the more you tell it to be correct, the more it will then go and search out for evidence. So you will start behaving and acting in ways that support that to be truth. So visualization is absolutely huge. And then last but not least, is really about every single day sitting in a place of, I guess, determination and being very, very intentional about creating a life where you absolutely step into your power. So I call it scheduled thinking time. That's about, who is that future version of me? What is she doing? How is she dressing? How does she command herself? What is her business look like? What is her home life like? What's her finances? Where does she go traveling? And allow yourself to think and feel it. So this was quite a long training. Thank you for staying with me to the end. It's a very powerful training because it touches on so much of what I teach in the Upleveled Woman. If this is something of interest to you, I teach the Upleveled Woman as a private one-on-one coaching package. I also teach it in a group setting. There's also a digital version of the course. It is a very powerful journey of taking you on this path of unbecoming everything that you thought you should be in life, so you can really discover who you were always designed to be. And what I mean by that is stripping back the beliefs, the thoughts, the stuck emotions, going into the wounding, seeing what needs healing, all the past nonsense which is holding you back from stepping into your power and creating the life of your dreams. You are handheld every step of the way. So if this is of interest to you, it's making you start really thinking about the life that you're living. And if you are stepping into your power or not, then please just comment below, DM me, message me. You can email me at dihill@dihillcoaching.com. I would love to hear from you and set you on your path to creating the most up-leveled life, the one that you were born worthy and deserving of. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon.